Welcome to Oracle of Confidence. Today, I'm revealing the exact system that took people from burned out chaos to sustainable high performance. This isn't another productivity hack. This is the why behind every productivity system that actually works. The problem everyone faces is this: you have finite energy, and you're spending it on the wrong things. Not intentionally, but by default. Our brains have evolved to preserve energy. Every decision exhausts energy. Every transition exhausts energy. Every context switch exhausts energy. Yet we're operating in an environment specifically designed to fragment our attention into 1,000 pieces. Research shows that the average person makes 35,000 decisions per day. Most of them are unconscious, but every single one extracts a cost from your available mental energy. By 2 p.m., you're running on fumes. Not because you worked hard, but because you bled energy across countless micro-decisions. Meet David, 42 years old, entrepreneur with 3 successful businesses. But here's the problem. David was also exhausted, constantly. He'd go to bed at 9 p.m., mentally wiped, wake up at 5 a.m. still tired. He'd lost the joy in the work he'd built. He was running a machine, not creating. David tried everything: the Pomodoro technique, time blocking, the getting things done system. Each one worked for exactly 2 weeks. Then his life would happen: an unexpected crisis, a client emergency, his kid getting sick, and the system would collapse. He'd blame himself. I'm not disciplined enough. But here's what the research shows. 89% of people who fail at productivity systems fail not because they lack discipline, but because the system required perfect external circumstances. The real problem wasn't David's discipline. It was that every system was trying to optimize what he did, not how he had energy to do it. The architecture was wrong. Everything changed when David stopped asking, "How do I do more?" and started asking, "How do I do more with the energy I naturally have?" This led him to develop what he calls the energy protocol. It operates on one fundamental principle: energy is the currency, not time. 2 people can have the exact same 24 hours and produce wildly different results depending on their energy architecture. The person who wastes energy fighting their circadian rhythm will produce half the output of the person who works with their natural rhythms, even if they work fewer hours. The energy protocol has 3 core components. First, David mapped his actual energy throughout the day, not what he thought would be logical, not what productivity gurus said should work, his actual energy pattern. He discovered he had 3 distinct energy peaks: 6 to 8 a.m., strategic thinking clarity; 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., execution and creation; and 4 to 6 p.m., relationship and communication energy. He had 3 energy valleys: 2 to 4 p.m., post-lunch crash; 7 to 9 p.m., evening depletion; and 10 p.m. onward, crash mode. He also discovered that certain activities generated energy: creative work, meaningful conversations, physical movement, while others drained energy: email, meetings with low-purpose administrative tasks. Most people never make this distinction. They operate assuming all activities cost the same amount of energy. They don't. Second, once David mapped his energy landscape, he redesigned his schedule to match. He put his highest value creative work in his 6 to 8 a.m. strategic window. He moved client meetings into his 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. peak. That's when he was most articulate and creative. He batch processed email at specific times instead of constantly monitoring it. Email interruptions cost 23 minutes of mental recovery time per interruption, according to Microsoft research. He also implemented an energy exchange system. For every energy-draining activity, he scheduled an energy-generating activity within 2 hours. A draining all-hands meeting at 10 a.m., followed by a 15-minute walk or creative work at 11. This prevented the energy debt from compounding. Third, most people operate in a constant deficit because they never actually recover. David implemented a weekly reset. Sunday evening, he reviewed his energy expenditure for the week. What depleted him? Where did energy drain go unchecked? Then he redesigned the coming week proactively, ensuring he had at least 3 pockets of energy surplus, not deficit, built into his schedule. Within 4 weeks of implementing the system, David's experience completely shifted. Not because he was working more hours, actually 12% fewer hours, but because he was working during high energy periods and spacing recovery properly. His output increased 34%. His stress decreased 61%. Most important, he fell back in love with his work. The joy returned because he wasn't running himself into the ground. He was working rhythmically with his natural energy cycles. 6 months in, David had added a 4th business and actually felt less exhausted than when he had 3. How? Energy efficiency, not more effort. His business metrics skyrocketed because high energy work produces exponentially better results than exhausted person work. Track your actual energy for 2 weeks. Not what you think you should feel, but what you actually feel at each hour. Rate it 1 to 10 every 90 minutes. Identify your 3 peak windows and 3 valley periods. This took David 2 weeks, but gave him a personalized productivity map that worked forever. For every draining activity, required meetings, administrative work, difficult conversations, schedule an energy-generating activity within 2 hours. This prevents energy debt from compounding throughout the day. David's game changer. He scheduled his favorite creative work immediately after client calls. That one shift changed his entire experience. Every Sunday evening, or your chosen reset day, review. Where did energy drain this week? Where was surplus? Redesign next week proactively. This 30-minute ritual saved David from the constant exhaustion trap. It's the difference between reactive and proactive energy management. Right now, you're probably running on fumes, operating in energy deficit like it's normal. But imagine a week where you're working during your peak energy windows, where you finish the day energized instead of wiped, where you have the mental clarity for real creativity because you're not constantly fighting your own biology. That's available to you. Not through more discipline, through smarter design. As David Allen says, energy is not something you manufacture, it's something you design for. Subscribe to Oracle of Confidence. Download the energy mapping template from the link below and track your actual energy for 2 weeks. In the comments, tell me, what's your highest energy time of day, and are you currently using it for your most important work? Remember, productivity isn't about doing more. It's about aligning your work with your energy rhythms.